Oh, hey, everybody. Didn't see you over there. Welcome to the 2023 edition of the podcast year-end wrap-up show. I'm joined here by my co-host, my daughter, Nina. Nina, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Do you like our new setup here?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, we could do cool things. We could, play music. All right. Welcome to the podcast year-end show 2023. This is how we do it. All right, it's been quite a fun year. You like my toys? What else do you like on here? Do you like what if
I like, but does my voice sound different when I do this? Yeah. What does it sound like? Sounds like deep.
But what if I do this voice?
This voice.
What about this voice? How about this voice?
No. What about this one?
Oh, it's like an echo.
It's like an echo. Now we're back to normal, right? But then we could do. Oh, I don't like that voice. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for the fourth annual podcast year in review. Joined here by my daughter Nina. She's going to be with us for some of the guests that we have. A quick overview. Be joined by Mita Mallick, Kevin Logan Jr., Stephynie Malik, no relation to Mita, spelled a little bit differently. My Unpod squad, which is Liam, Joel, and Jonaed, and followed by maybe a special guest, and then we'll wrap it up with Nina. But first and foremost, Nina, tell us how was your 2023?
It's good. Some ups, some downs,
but
all is good.
Yeah. What was some of the highlights of your year? Not in school. Nina's in 6th grade. She's going to be graduating this year and going to be going to middle school next year.
Yeah.
So tell us some of the highlights.
Camp, maybe a bit. I also loved Hershey Park. That was really fun.
I don't know. Do you think your brother's going to realize soon that we didn't take him to Hershey Park? That it was like a whole secret. We had like a whole secret thing because we didn't want him to get upset because the trip was really about Nina, right? We didn't want it. It was her birthday trip. We went to Hershey Park, and it was nice because we had like the park to ourselves, right? You have to talk.
It was like a rainy type of day, but like it wasn't raining, so it was like perfect. I also saw some people taking advantage of the water slides.
I know it wasn't really a warm day, right?
No. I was wearing a sweatshirt and like what I was wearing right now.
Okay, now how was camp this year?
It was
no, it was fun. Camp was fun.
It was fun.
It better be fun for what we pay for camp.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was
magical, and then some days were
definitely.
Yeah, we loved the little soundboard. So what's your favorite thing about camp?
Probably definitely getting to hang with new people and like hanging with my bunks.
Mm-hmm.
And like the activities. They're really fun.
Yeah, and are you looking forward to going back to camp?
Definitely.
Okay, good. We need to have you looking forward to it. Make sure you talk into the microphone. That's podcasting 101 over here.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right, well, awesome. So what was a tough part of 2023 for you?
There was some parts of camp that I had a bit of trouble with, but I loved camp, and also sometimes my friendships.
Okay, well, what part about friendships was rough? I mean, listen, you're going 6th grade, right?
Well, sometimes my friends could be a bit annoying.
Well, some of all of our friends. Look, it's Elena. Say hi to Elena. Hey, Elena. Elena's killing it this year. And Evan, great job. Our good friends doing great. They just launched a new custom suit brand. So if you want to link it up in the comments, check it out. Elena and Evan will link up the suits. I get 20% on all suits. So just remember that, everybody. Exactly. So Nina, what was it? What was it about those relationships? Like, what did you learn from that? Like, what did you learn that you need to do differently, maybe with some new friendships you're going to have this year?
I learned that I have to be a bit more patient,
Mm-hmm.
but I also learned that I have to make sure I pick the right group of friends because you never know what could happen, and you also don't know if people are just gonna be your friends one day and then go behind your back the other day.
Well, you know what, Nina, it's an important lesson in life, right? You learn who your true friends are. Your true friends are always going to have your back. Mita's down there. We're going to get her into the show in a moment here, but those are important lessons to learn. Right? Yeah. You're going to learn who your true friends are. You're going to learn who your friends who have your back. You're going to learn when the times get tough, who's going to be by your side. Right? What else? Talk about school. What has been challenging for you in fifth and 6th grade? Because it does cross over the
math.
Ooh, math is tough. And it's hard because I don't study with you for math. Math is a tough one.
I don't know. Like we get packets, but sometimes like I like math sometimes, but sometimes it's just hard because I can't sometimes understand things as fast.
And I got to tell you, as a parent, I don't know what they've done with math since we learned it. They completely rewrote the curriculum. They're using a new style of math. I mean, math was never my strong suit to begin with, but it's hard for us parents when we can't teach it. And they're using words with numbers. How do you do math with words? What's that all about?
Like word problems?
Yeah.
Well, they really are. They're sometimes confusing because sometimes they are like random numbers that don't need to be in the equation.
What does that mean? Like words in the numbers?
Yes. They like put like something. They like put things that.
Like one of these? Okay, sorry. What did they put in?
They put like random numbers that are not supposed to be like. Well, they like make the equation, but like you don't need to use them in the equation. So confusing.
So do you think they do it to trick you?
They do it to give us a challenge.
They do it. Here, you want to hold the mic? Is that better for you? Hold on. Let's do it this way. Hold on. Sorry, everybody out there for the technical difficulties. Here you go. Try it that way.
This is better.
All right. There we go. See, we're problem solving here. But what are the subjects that you're doing really well in right now?
Social studies, science, reading, and writing.
And why'd you do so well on your science test? Tell everyone why you did so well.
Because I studied a lot with my dad.
Right, exactly. I don't mind studying for science. I like science. I like doing social studies, but the math stuff and the spelling, not good. And what about other things that you're working on outside of school? Let's talk about competitive dance for a moment.
Yeah, I love my dances this year, just not the costumes.
No, the costumes are a whole thing. Anybody who's out there who's a parent in any sports or dance or anything, they make you buy these expensive costumes that you only use once, and they're usually
not even that cute.
They're not. They're not even that cute. Well, we're going to jump ahead. Our next guest is here a little bit early, and I want to use all the time I have with her. We're going to bring in Mita Mallick here in a second. Let me bring her on stage. There she is.
Hello.
Mita, how you doing?
Good. How are you? That's a tough act to follow. So maybe I should go backstage again. Bye.
No, we're gonna bye. See you later. We're gonna kick her out. Okay, we're back here. No, I'm kidding. We'll bring her right back in here. That's the beauty of podcast. Everybody, I am thrilled to welcome our esteemed. I can't believe it. I finally get to say this. Wall Street Journal, USA Today, best-selling author. Her new book, Reimagine Inclusion, is out now and just crushing on the charts. Mita Mallick, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I have a co-host today.
Wonderful. Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So Mita, why don't you tell Nina and anybody who's been hiding under a rock who you are and what you do?
Who am I? I'm a passionate storyteller. I love writing. If I could make a living writing all day, I might do that. But I love stories. I love focusing on making workplaces more inclusive. That's something I'm really passionate about. And the most important job I have is mom to Jay, who is 11, going on 21, and Priya, who's 8, going on 18. So that's a little bit of my life.
Two girls?
A boy and a girl. Boy and girl. Boys
so
yes.
Nina's 11. What's some of the differences between an 11-year-old boy and an 11-year-old girl as far as maturity? Like, what does Nina have to look forward to coming up?
I don't know. I would hope that there's not. We don't focus on differences, but more commonalities.
Okay,
right?
so what? It's okay, fair enough, right? Okay, in the context of
how I raise my son and daughter to think about all the equal opportunities they have in life, and so I think about that a lot.
I think that's a wonderful mindset, and that's something we do with our kids too. And I think it really starts with empathy. And I think I explained this when you were on our show that Nina's empathy is her superpower.
That's amazing.
That she's able to. Nina, why don't you talk a little bit about one of the programs you're doing at school? What do they call it? The Buddy
Club.
And tell them what the Buddy Club is.
Buddy Club, it's like when you go to like a special needs class and you like play with them for like 30 minutes and you just hang out with them and help them.
That's wonderful. That's a great way to build new friendships.
Yeah.
Meet new people.
And Nina was talking about before, maybe you could lend some advice here. She was having a little bit of relationship problems, interpersonal relationship problems with some of the kids at camp here. Why don't you tell? Mita is an expert in this space.
Oh gosh, I don't know about that. I just have deep expertise. Remember, Adam, there's no such thing as experts in our world anymore.
Expertise.
I will try.
Well, sometimes I got into a bit of arguments with my friends because they didn't like the way I was doing something, or they just wanted it their way. And sometimes it's a little hard for me to handle it.
Oh, okay. Have you thought about telling your friends how you feel?
Yeah, I tried to tell like my friends. Sometimes they listen, but sometimes they don't.
Sometimes I think saying things like, I don't think you meant it, but it hurt my feelings. So could we start again?
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to frame it. And I think us adults could take a lot of lessons from that too.
Yes, we could.
I think it's tough out there. I think that a lot of us have been on nerves the last 3 years.
Absolutely.
With the pandemic. We've kind of been trigger happy with our words and our actions, and it's been a tough one to really slow to submit it. Let's hit the rewind button for you. Tell us about your 2023. Let's talk about some highlights.
Gosh, my 2023. Well, I quietly published a book. I would say I worked on it for 4 years and finally had the courage to tell people it was coming out. It came out in October, and I was building momentum for that. And it hit the Wall Street Journal. Thank you. Thank you. USA Today bestseller list. I'm very all the stops. I love it.
Yeah.
I think I've been really overwhelmed and humbled by the response. It means a lot when people reach out and say, I read this chapter. It meant something to me. Thank you for writing this book. People gifting it. I mean, I wrote the book to make impact. So it means a lot.
It's interesting. I've had Matt Higgins on the show. Burn the Boats is one of my favorite books of the past year, in addition to yours. I'm still waiting for my signed copy.
But yes, that's right.
But he talked a lot about, yes, it's great it feels good for the ego, but it's not even about the ego. It's about helping others, right? And for him, it's the impact of other people sharing excerpts from the book of parts that impacted them and gifting it. I mean, is there anything better than someone saying, this book meant so much to me and I learned so much of it, and I think you would enjoy it too for certain reasons?
There's nothing better than that. Or people, I have family members, someone who texted me the other night, like, I used one of your chapters in a workplace situation, some of the advice. And I said, wow, that's really meaningful. And, I think the other highlights, we can go back to the professional, but
Please.
The personal, I was thinking about this. And maybe the two of you can relate to this, but I thought to myself, okay, I still think there's 365 days in a year. And so how many meals did I make with my husband?
Mm-hmm.
Loads of laundry, lunches packed, school projects. We're on the birthday party circuit. I'm grateful for that, but lots of gifts to give out. And so I just think about that in terms of being, two parents who work outside the home, how much that takes, that we don't really talk about that, to keep your family intact and, work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. I was thinking meals. I was like, I think we ate every day, 3 times a day.
Your kids were fed, and I think that's certainly. Now, I also heard a rumor in your hometown that you're actually giving out this book for Halloween instead of candy this year. Is that true?
No, that's not true.
No,
it was not true. Although my kids have been really proud of the book, so that's been nice. They were really excited to see the copies arrive.
Have both of them read it?
My son has started reading it. My daughter, I think, flipping through it.
Mm-hmm.
She was upset that her brother's name was before hers in the intro. But.
Well, I mean, listen, there has to be an output. Well, listen, I named my company after Nina, right? These are Nina's initials right here for right. And one day her brother's going to come in here and he's going to realize, I don't know what age, maybe in like a year or two, he's going to be like, wait a minute. Dad, why do you have Nina's initials on the on the wall? And I'm going to have to come up with a new name for a company or an excuse to tell him that. And I also want to talk about the other doors professionally that this has opened up for you, speaking and being able to get the word out there, public speaking. How does it feel to be doing remote and in-person events and sharing the word and the good work that you know? It
feels great. There's so much energy. I mean, listen, we're sitting in a time in our country right now where the backlash against diversity, equity, and inclusion is real. And so people have a lot of concerns about this work. So being able to talk about it and reach people differently. And I keep saying to people, like, inclusion's about productivity. That's what it's about. When I feel like I work for you and I can give 100% and not 50% because I'm worried about what's happening at work and how I'm being treated versus, hey, I'm just here to make impact.
Impact is critical, and it's interesting that you brought up the pushback on diversity and inclusion, and I see it. And I don't mean to go a little bit dark here too, but like I see it because I'm an in the trenches recruiter.
Of course, yeah.
And I hear it from, and I'll be straight up with this, real candid talk here. I hear it from white men, white women, and they're saying I'm equally qualified, but I feel certain companies are pushing certain initiatives, and I don't know how to respond as a recruiter. I try to work with my clients, and I say, diversity and inclusion it's I want you to hire the best available person, the best person for the job, but it's about your sourcing. It's about giving everyone the right opportunity from that part of the process. And that's the way I explain it to my candidates. What would you add here?
I think that's a great way to explain it. Listen, I don't ever want to be called a diversity hire. We've talked about this. I've earned this seat. And so, but it is about making sure you have as many people that you can have access to the role, that have the right qualifications and experience. And then it's the best person for the role. Absolutely. Because you don't ever want to set up anyone to fail, right?
That
may fail, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. I'm saying you want to set people up for success, and that's really what it's about. So talk to us a little bit about, and obviously not mentioning any names, but some of those aha moments that you've been having with leaders who have either read your book and brought you in, or they heard about you, and until they brought you in, how'd you open up their eyes?
Yeah, I think, this will continue on this thread. I'm all for diverse talent as long as they're good. And asking people, well, do you ever say that about non-diverse talent? I've never thought about it that way. Let's think about the things that we really think, like, why does it make us uncomfortable when you see someone that's unexpected that shows up on a slate? Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that. What is it about that person that makes you uncomfortable versus, hey, looking at their experience, their resume qualifications, and the job description?
It's interesting. And we spoke about this when you were on my podcast earlier this year about the idea of unconscious biases.
Yes.
Right. And I think that starts home. That starts at the home, and that starts about the values too and what you grow up with. And it doesn't mean you're a racist just because you might think something. And there's certainly extremes to that. Let's just be careful here how we say this. Right. There's extremes to that. But unconscious biases are just ways that we think off the cuff. They're things that are ingrained in us, and it doesn't make us a bad person necessarily. But if you're in a position to hire, if you're in a decision-making process where other people's livelihoods are at stake, you need to be able to remove it. And I know for me, and this is an interesting one and very candid and open to sharing it, I volunteered my first year of recruiting to do a blind exercise where it was a sourcing exercise to see equally qualified candidates, how I would respond, whether to move them through or not. And there was a slight bias in names that weren't quite recognizable as English names. And it was only a small percentage of it, and I wasn't thinking about it. Yeah. But the fact that it was brought to my attention changed me immediately, behavior as a recruiter.
You thought about it, right?
Right. But it starts with self-awareness.
Yeah. I was started my career in marketing, still consider myself a marketer, worked for some of the biggest consumer product goods companies. And Adam, I don't know if we talked about this, but I was always trained to go to the second page of the resume and look to see where they went to business school. And if it wasn't a top 10 business school, to put it in a separate pile. And you're like, what? Mm-hmm. And so I had to untrain myself to be like, no, you don't go to the last page. You start at the beginning to see what their career journey is. The other one that's been getting a lot of interesting buzz is this idea of why are you asking for a raise? You and your husband make more than enough money. Oh. And so the way, no one said that when women negotiate, they're received differently, right? They're often gaslit, minimized, and dismissed versus when a man might negotiate. Not always the case, but we see that sometimes comes up. And so what does that mean in terms of the myth that women don't negotiate? It's often the person who's receiving the negotiation request who has, as you said, bias they need to work through.
That is so fascinating. So what are some of the techniques that you use with leadership to open them up, to be a little bit more receptive and to work through some of those unconscious biases?
So, unless AI is going to change this, no one can actually think, no one knows what I'm thinking right now, right? So you have the bias, the thought, keep it in your head. So if I'm triggered by the fact that you're asking for more money, before I respond, like, why am I triggered? That you're asking just for your compensation to be reviewed.
Right.
Why?
What part of it? Let's break it down.
Or there are moments where, people have said to me, well, why are you asking for a raise? Why are you being so ambitious? You have 2 kids at home. They're young. You don't need that promotion right now. Okay, would you say that?
You're going to work more, right? With the raise, you're going to work more.
Yeah.
You're not going to be at home as much. I mean, that's discriminatory.
And so ask yourself, one of the questions I ask leaders to think about is, would you ask the same question of a man? Would you ask the same question of a father? right? Versus a mother or a woman.
That has been interesting. Where have you seen a common thread of roadblocks within organizations that are unwilling to change?
I mean, listen, I think especially as you look at all the chief diversity officer roles that have been cut, I think, many of them were figurehead roles. Unfortunately, they weren't funded properly, no teams, no resources. There weren't goals, objectives. They weren't decision makers. It wasn't built into the infrastructure of the company. And so that's where I see, DE&I isn't important anymore.
That's an interesting one.
Reported yet. Yeah.
And what about how DE&I plays into the whole remote hybrid work from home conversation? Factors that people aren't taking. And I mean, I have a stance on this too. And I'm going to go on my soapbox for a minute here because it's still my name on the bottom of the show. So I get to do it occasionally. I think that a lot of the folks, yes, I love remote work. I believe in it. I truly believe that you hire someone to get the job done regardless of where they are. I also see the value of certain times being in an office and being collaborative depending on the role. But one of the pieces that really upsets me when people say everyone should work from home all the time, I think we're discounting a lot of folks who might be single parents, who might be living in an urban area where, there's like, 3 or 4 family members in one room where they have to work from a kitchen table that's 1 foot away from their bedroom. And I don't think we're really thinking about what's best for everybody and giving options, trust, and choice, which should really be the answer here. What are you seeing? What are you feeling out there?
I agree with you. It's the extremes. Everyone should be in 5 days. Everyone should be remote. People want to be treated like adults. Don't monitor where I'm working for. Judge me on the impact. And we're human beings. We crave connection. I do want to work remotely, but I also want to be in person with teams collaborating. And there's a balance to that. But I think it's that people are just, Adam, as you said, the last 3 years, people are fed up. I don't want to be told what to do. I don't want to be monitored, right? I came here to make impact. Let me make impact and let me work in the way that works best for me.
Right, but how do you keep? Culture is interesting. I mean, I define culture by employees feeling valued and leadership creating a sense of that clear career trajectory, feeling valued and feeling inclusive. Right, that's the I part is a big part of that. And how do you do that remotely? How do you keep the team together and feeling? And I think that's really the challenge. And we spoke about this on my podcast. And I want to use the last couple of minutes while I have my daughter here. When you talk about parenting, and I love your approach too. As my daughter goes into 7th grade next year, and it's exciting, and work is going to get a little bit harder, relationships are going to get harder. What are some of these like mindsets to be positive and successful? Some of these kind of tips and ethos that you have.
Yeah, I mean, stay open-minded and curious. It's such a big world out there. There's so much to learn. So just keep learning and growing. I think you already, I can sense from the show, have a great sense of empathy. That's your superpower. So make sure that you're open to learning about different experiences that aren't your own. And even if they make you uncomfortable, to lean into that. And I think the last thing, Adam, and I know Gary V talks a lot about this, is just gratitude. There's no success without gratitude for me. Really being grateful for the things we have. It doesn't mean that we don't want more in life, but we want to say, hey, like, as we end the year, look at how amazing the year is and look at how amazing community we have and the people around us that we love while we continue to chase what we want.
I love it. And I would love for you, last but not least, before we say goodbye, what is, we have our inside wishes for ourselves and our family. We have our dreams. We have our intentions that we set out there. But what is one that you could share, your wish for everyone out there who might be struggling on the job hunt, folks that might be in a toxic job? What's your wish for everyone out there who might not be in a good place right now?
My wish is that you go where you are celebrated and not tolerated. That's my wish for you. And don't give up. Don't give up.
I love it.
Your job is waiting for you. As my friend DC Marshall and co-host of Brown Table Talk with me says, congratulations, you were promoted. You are going to that next amazing chapter of your life. Don't forget it.
I love it so much. And last but not least, what is your magical word for 2024?
Gosh, I'm really liking 2023. My word was unstoppable. So I feel like I might carry it over, but we'll see. I might pick another one, but I still feel pretty unstoppable this year.
I love it. And I want everyone to go on Amazon, and you could just put in the search bar, Reimagine Inclusion, and put in Mita Mallick's name. You could also connect with her on LinkedIn. Where else could folks find you? Where could they connect? Where could they learn more?
LinkedIn, Instagram. I have a defunct TikTok channel, so don't go there. But Instagram and LinkedIn, happy to meet people. I love building, creating community. Thank you both for having me. You have an amazing lineup. So many friends.
So many friends. And that's what this show is all about. This is the 4th year that Nina has joined me, and it's a time capsule for us, Mita. We look back on it, and every year, I mean, I have pictures of her baby face. And in my first studio, I was in a WeWork in a conference room. I was in my downstairs studio in this building. I was in this studio this time last year without all of this up. So it's been an evolution, and we're going to be able to look back on this. And I plan on doing this every year with her. Even when she's in college, she'll be back, for Christmas. We're going to do this as long as we can. And then next year, I think we have to get Oliver on, right?
I think he's going to want to join, and you have to start a second company in his name. That's what's going to happen.
I know it's a tough one. Well, Mita, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you, and have a great, happy, healthy New Year and a wonderful holiday season.
See you soon. Bye, both.
Mita Mallick, everybody. Thank you, Mita. Take care. All right, Nina. So I'll bring Kevin on in a second. Here's Kevin. Kevin, let's say a quick hello. I'm gonna kick Nina off here and send her over to the
Hi,
couch.
Nina.
Hi.
Oh, I heard some kids in the background there.
I got my Ninas back here too.
And you're Oliver. Yeah, the Nina's not the
That's a good point.
Both of them. Yeah, there's a little bit of both. All right, Nina, hold on one second. Let me help her out over here for a second. Nina, I'm gonna get you back in here in a minute, okay? We're just gonna put it down here. It's fine. It's awesome. All right, I'll see you in a minute. Oh, hey everybody. Kevin, I feel like we're doing this all the time here. You good? Here, put this
right
down.
I know, I see you too much almost, right?
Yeah, I know, it's all right. But this is how you create a culture. This is how you make remote work, right?
This is how you make remote work.
This is how you make.
You have to, like any relationship, baby, you have to communicate. Now keep that music going. You got to communicate. You got to meet person to person, soul to soul, heart to heart.
Kevin is the creative fire, and I'm just a DJ over here.
Hey, bringing this back to a story. I remember when Adam introduced us to our podcast, The Immutable Mindset. Felt like we were in a Cadillac vibing. It was
right.
Was that the Bryson show? I forget what show, but that was a vibe, dude.
That was a vibe, and I'm telling you, ever since I brought this back on, like it's just because it, and like I don't know where they found this music, but it was just like. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast in the Immutable Mindset, right? Like it just works. Like it's a good.
It makes me happy. It makes me super happy for no reason whatsoever.
No, it does, and it's good. So feel good. I think that this has been an interesting year. I think there's been a lot of highs and some really rough lows. There's been some real highs, and first commendable. We got to we got together in April. Which was good. We were consensus in Austin, and we had a real good time there. And there was a lot of optimism, but we also knew at that time.
Shout out Web3 and blockchain.
Yeah, shout out Sam, you and the whole consensus crew over there. It was interesting because it was cool. Like we were in the mix. We were in the main line. We were mainlining
We're with the
Web3.
cool kids.
We were with the cool kids, and you know what? That was cool. But we also knew that there was a downside on the horizon. We also knew that the indicators of the market were going to cause issues, and we were already in it. We knew that there was a downfall on the recruiting side, right? On the Web 2 side, the Web 3 side, people weren't hiring. Layoffs were fast and furious, especially from the tech companies. And here's the ugly truth. Here's the candid truth. When people are getting let go, when in-house recruiters are getting let go, no one's hiring. And they definitely don't need external recruiters. So for me, this past year was rough. I mean, business is down significant percent, and it caused me to have to really think outside of the box and find other ways to monetize. And Kevin was by my side, and just being the voice of experimentation and being the voice of step outside of the box and fuck around and find out. And listen, what you're doing is not working because there's nothing to work on.
That's right.
So you need to find other things. And I want to thank you for that, for getting me out of my shell of doing things the same way every time. And now we're working on some exciting shit that's actually going to help people.
This is the Beard Cast. You are absolutely right, Joel. This is the Beard Cast. We have some beautiful beards. 2023 was the year of building resiliency, it felt like, right? The 4 years before that, dude, we didn't have any issues. Like there was no issues. There was very little hiccups. Business was going. It was a chart that was up and to the right. And then this is the first year where we had a couple red candles and the market really started to go down. And there was that seminal moment. I won't forget it, where it was like, all right, we got to figure this out. And
it was literally when sorry, I don't like
no.
It was the record, like the record stopped. The record literally stopped, and business was nil.
Dead.
Like it was literally dead. Like it was flatline. flatline.
RIP. But through that, right? But you can fold, right? And you know what? You can dig your own grave right next to the one that was just dug, or you can rise up. And what we chose was to rise up. We chose to build resiliency. And what we chose to do was answer this question. You know, we're investing, we're in blockchain, we're in crypto. How can you short the market, right? You can make money when the market's going up, but you can also make money when the market's going down. And so we figured out how to short the recruitment market so we can make it work for us. And since then, dude, we're working on so many cool things now because we got outside our box and trusted that we knew that taking action every day would give us direction.
Right. We're not just recruiters. And you know, like I think it's something that Joel posts all the time when he does his stupid templates that he steals from Gary Vee. And he's like, yes, this is a roast also. You're more than just your resume. You're more than just your title. And I urge this to job seekers. We talk about all the time. Like, what else are you? You're not just a project manager. And how do you tell that story? And the theme for the back half of this year going into 2024 is storytelling. And Kevin is a master storyteller. Sometimes, he a little verbose, but I think at the right time and place, especially on emails to clients. But anyway, we digress on that one. But the art of storytelling is critical because I think so many people think binary and linear in their job search, and we lead with stories. Us humans, going back to the caveman days, are storytellers. Kevin, tell us a little story about storytelling.
Well, I think this is the story, dude. And this has been the story of all the people I've talked to, and we talked to a lot of people. It's the abstract versus the concrete. And most of the time, we are the experts in our field talking to people that are not. And as job seekers, as entrepreneurs, as whatever, we're so close to the issue that oftentimes we think and we talk abstractly.
Mm-hmm.
What storytelling does is it allows you to take those abstract thoughts and then communicate them concretely, right? And so, for instance, instead of talking about those shoes that you bought, you talk about the lime green pair of Jordans that you bought at the Nike store, right? That's visual, it's vivid. And so, what I think the second half of storytelling and how job seekers and everybody's going to utilize it is you're going to use it so that you can project vivid images into your prospect so that you can help them with that bottom of the funnel stuff, right? Help them see that you are the person that can help them. And so that's why I think storytelling is so huge, because most people we talk to, psychology is the issue. They have all the experience and knowledge within them. We just have to unclutter those thoughts and then help them communicate those thoughts in a way that somebody else would understand. And that's what we're doing.
And I think the problem is when, and even as business owners, we go down this rabbit hole of like, all right, things aren't going well. I'm just going to keep hammering prospects, keep hammering them with the same old message.
Right.
And I think that just obviously is a waste of time because they're not hiring. So how do you find other ways to add value? How do you find other ways to get in front of them? And that really comes down to figuring out how could I help somebody's problems and identifying with those problems. So if you're a job seeker out there,
that's right.
Maybe this company's not hiring right now, but how do you get in front of them? How do you showcase your thought leadership? How do you add value?
You got to be patient. And you have to know that timing is everything. We're recruiters, right? How often have we been in a meeting with a prospect where we had the solution for them, but perhaps they weren't even aware they had a problem. They weren't aware that you could solve their problem. And then you start speaking with them and they start to become aware, but you get to the end of the call and it's like, okay, the solution's not right. It's not right. But then the awesome thing is you create content and you put out practical and useful advice where all the time they get to recognize and see that you are the expert they need. And oh, you actually do know this stuff. So then all of a sudden, 3 months later, that same prospect that you took time and effort to is like, you know what? I'm ready. And so that happens with so many of us out there. Timing is everything. And so it's not like a transactional thing. Don't just end it right there. Leave it the option that you might be able to have optionality on it later.
You know what's interesting about that too? The other part of timing too, and I'm getting a little tactical here, but I think it's important. A lot of job seekers, by the time you get into an interview process, you're not at the starting line. You're not at the starting line compared to other candidates. And you need to understand that other candidates might not be farther along. So how do you give yourself every advantage to be back? Like you want to blow their socks off, right? You want to jump ahead of the line. And how do you do that? And it comes down to storytelling. So Kevin, talk a little bit about what's on the horizon. What do we build? Let's get some alpha here. Screw it. Like this is our show. right? Like let's tell everyone what we're working on, like without giving away all the deets. But let me just say before Kevin gives some details that I am, and I always have been, a real true believer in collaboration over competition. I believe that our sum is greater than the parts. I believe that we all have superpowers, and when we can bring our superpowers together and check out egos at the door and be fair and equitable, that there's magic on the horizon. With that said,
you gave me good goosebumps when you said that. Dude, 6 months ago, and this is for anybody, 6 months ago when we were eating dirt because all our clients left and the dollars went to zero, it really became a moment of like, what do I want to do in this world? Like, who do I want to help? Like, what? Seriously, dude, you don't want to go back to corporate. What are you going to do? It's through that process of learning and iterating and figuring out that I realized I want to work with people that are at my level. I don't want personally, I don't want employees. I want people at my level who can take on the work I can take on, who are genuinely curious about other people as I am. Yeah, now you got little people in the background, but are genuinely curious and genuinely want to build solutions for problems. They want to listen. They don't want to just speak. They're not looking for their turn to say something. They're not looking to just throw their product at somebody without a solution. They genuinely care. And so when I met the two people, you, Adam, and Jonaed, Iqbal, and we decided to partner up on PNT Labs, where we help our clients better understand candidates, and we help our candidates better understand clients and hiring managers. There's like this it's like the recycle logo, but it's like this.
It's like that. It's that repost logo that everyone's using, but that's really recycle, which is kind of weird.
Like for real. I have so many job seekers we talk to all the time that have just talked to this person, just got help from this person, and it wasn't the help they needed. It wasn't the solution they needed. They're
throwing templates at them. They're just going with a standard checklist. They're not listening and really recognizing what that person's unique problem is.
And they don't also understand the process of being a recruiter. They don't know what happens on the other side. They don't know what happens when the sausage is being made. So there's just this gap of information all the time. But we do. So we can utilize those strengths, the strength of being an entrepreneur, a copywriter, a marketer, a business person, psychographics. We know their aspirations and fears. We know exactly what's happening when they feel this day to day, and we can speak directly to it and help them. So why the hell wouldn't we? PNT Labs.
I'm excited with this. Probably Nothing Talent Labs. And it goes back to this idea of a pivot. 2 years ago, Kevin and I launched Probably Nothing Talent with the original focus to be on Web3 hiring, which it still is. Right, when Web3 bounces back, and there's some VC money coming back in. I think that we're looking more towards Q2 and 3 for a real bounce back. But I think that it is on the horizon, and there's a lot of great talent out there. But how can we take this brand that we created and the acronym PNT, Probably Nothing Talent, which is kind of a spin and a play on a Web3? I don't know the right word for it, but it's kind of like a tongue in cheek, right? Like probably nothing means it's probably something. That's exactly what that. Right. It's a euphemism down there. But how can we take this brand that we created, instead of creating a new brand, it works, and that's what PNT Talent Labs is working with clients for recruiting, for employer branding, for candidate experience, and on the other side of it, working with candidates to really help them harness their own career story, their own career narrative, and really empower them to really accelerate their job search. So we have a couple products coming out. We have a couple of really cool things. You can check out probablynothingtalent.com. You could sign up right there for our newsletter. We're going to have information coming out in the new year. We also, can we give some more?
Hey, can we talk about the cool thing?
Go for it.
No, you go for it.
No, you go for it. So we are go for it. You do it.
All right. So, okay. I'm really excited. So excuse me. Apologies.
Hold on.
Go ahead. Well, Adam. We are proud to announce that we are getting a co-branded series show with Fishbowl, aka Glassdoor, to help job seekers strengthen their storytelling and all aspects of the job search. But we're doing it through storytelling. So we get to start the series, I believe, the second week of January.
January 17th. January 17th.
Series. It's going to be storytelling within storytelling. We're going to make it edutaining as possible. Come one, come all. If you need to understand better how to resonate, how to communicate, and how to speak to somebody that you want to have a conversation with, this bud's for you.
This bud's for you. This bud's for you. I absolutely love it. I'm excited about this show because it's a couple things. One, while obviously still driving the recruitment business, while still doing the grunt work, the trench work of business development, of reaching out to old clients, new clients, and bringing the business in, this gives me something to latch onto. This gives me something where I could utilize my talents and my strengths. And yes, we are going to make money on it, and that's okay. If I help a job seeker get a job and I'm giving you my time, there's a value to that. It's going to be fair valued. We are not cheap. Remember, you can't get, Google on a McDonald's salary. No disrespect to anybody, either of those two companies, but that's what it means. And I think that people really need to understand that you get what you pay for in life. And if you want something of quality, it's not cheap. And that's why we're focusing on, senior level roles where, the ROI on the work that we're going to do. And don't get me wrong, for junior and mid-level folks, we're going to have some great options for you as well. I'm not trying to turn this into a QVC infomercial over here, but we're saying is that there's help out there. But the biggest thing out there is I want everyone out there, please buyer beware. In this rough job market, there's a lot of snake oil salesmen and sales ladies, a lot of charlatans out there that are looking to separate you from your money. And I want you to do your own due diligence, and I want you to really be careful with that. So, a couple minutes left here, Kevin. What are you seeing on the AI front? I see Mr. Luke Matthews down there, the grand poobah of AI, the grand know-it-all. I'm gonna pin him up against the head of AI and ML learning at Apple recruiter. I'm gonna see what Luke really knows. Let's test his chops on that. Right?
No, and to Luke Matthews and anybody, look, Luke knows how to write. So the reason,
great writer, always been a great writer.
Let me say this, y'all. And hey, Luke can teach you all day. And I'm gonna say this because I can say this because it's amongst family here. But please don't you think for a second that you're just gonna recreate what he does on AI. The reason he can do that is because he gets storytelling and copywriting. He gets the tenets of psychology and psychographics. He gets the marketing side of it, so he can prompt it. And when the result comes out, he knows if it's an actual good result too.
Well, that's a critical part of it. I think too many people are relying on AI as gospel, and they're not prompting it the right way. I mean, it goes back to that it's a year-old story of that attorney that was preparing for a case, and he used ChatGPT, and it generated a fake case. He presented it in court, and the opposing lawyer called him out on that shit, and he got disbarred.
That's the craziest thing ever.
And think about what kids are doing for reports. The same thing in schools. These teachers are using AI filters that know how to pick up if it's something that's bullshit. The bullshit detector is strong.
But you know what? If you are legit at what you do, if you understand, you have an expertise in your field, and you can prompt it, and you know what's a good result, AI is amazing. I will still say it creates.
Beware of the machines,
dude. It creates so many foundational pieces of content. And then let me say this real quick. The other way that you use AI is not to create for you; it's to help you ideate. Use it. Act like it's the smartest person in the world. And just start asking it questions after questions.
You have to train it, right? You have to. Is my voice back to normal? My voice back to normal.
Curious. It's back to normal. Good. So, AI front, AI, it's good. It's great for foundation, great for ideation, great as an assistant, not as you. It does not replace you in any way, shape, or form.
And the other piece of that too is really on this platform, LinkedIn, that we all love and hate at the same time, is do not rely on this for your engagement. Do not let AI in place your engagement. Please, you're taking the social out of social. There's no point. There's no, what is the point of utilizing technology to engage for you?
I actually have a story for that really fast.
Sure, go for it. Then we'll wrap it up and break Stephynie in.
I talked to a friend last week. He let AI take over his content and his comments. And this is literally what he said. And I wrote it down. Hold on. He said, dude, after 2 months of doing this, I forgot who is who. I don't know how to communicate with anybody, and I forgot who I was. This was a win-win. Or excuse me, this was not a win-win. He lost his connection to people. He forgot their stories. He forgot how to communicate with them. That's the part. It's a social network. Yes, again, if you want to use it to start a conversation because you're going to be in the comments then makes total sense. Otherwise, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
So Kevin, let's bring it home here before I bring Stephynie on. Give us your best moment professionally and personally of 2023.
Best personal moment, honestly, has been a collection of these moments these last 6 months. Just all these ahas, building out something new. Worst moment, same moment. That demarcation point of when we had to realize, oh snap, we got to do something else. Honestly, it was a best and then the worst moment all in one.
It was a tough one. And Kevin, leave us some good words, your best wishes for everyone out there in 2024.
Yeah. My best words, my best wishes are, believe yourself, believe your experiences, believe your expertise, believe all your knowledge, and understand that your wisdom holds value. And there's a lot of people that need your help and could use it.
I love it. Kevin, I appreciate you, brother. We'll talk soon. Onwards and upwards for 2024. I'm excited to build the future with you. I'll bring Stephynie in here, and we'll bid you adieu. Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
He's saying bye.
2024.
Later, Kevin. All right, let's keep the good vibes going. Stephynie Malik in the house. In the car. Not in the house. You're not in the house. You're in the car.
Yeah, I'm in the car, but you know what? In the house is totally fine.
Exactly. We'll get the music going. And what's nice about the car is I saw you doing that. When you have the mirror in front of you in the car, like it's perfect, right? You could just prepare, get yourself looking good. Stephynie, meet Nina. There we go.
Hi.
Hello, Nina. You are so beautiful. What did your daddy have to give you to get on the show?
I know sometimes I look at her and I go, thank God you look like your mom. I'm like, thank God. Every day. But what I noticed, she found the bubbly here. You have to use a coaster. You have to respect the wood. Yeah, put it on here, buddy. No, I'm kidding. But she acts like me. She does dumb shit.
Well,
like just dumb shit.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, how old are your kids? You know what they've been. You've been through this.
I got a lot of dumb stuff that mine have done just this year. 29, 28, 22, and 14.
Could you believe she has a 29-year-old? She doesn't look a day over 29 herself, right? Unbelievable.
You get a parting gift today, brother.
Steph, tell everyone out there, tell us just a quick intro, who you are, what you do best, and where you're calling us from.
Absolutely. I'm a global business consultant. I help grow multi-million-dollar businesses and people to the next level. And I do a bunch of crisis expertise. So money laundering, bid rigging, tax evasion, a lot of the college admission scandal, sometimes athletes, celebrities, and high net worth. Right.
Cue the Full House music right here. Cue the Full House music. Cue the Full House. And where are you parked today?
That's kind of a long story. I am in New York. We'll talk about that off air.
You are in New York, and we'll talk about that off air. It sounds like it's for. But are you in New York City? Are you parked outside my office right here? Like, what is going on?
I am. I'm actually outside your house, but we'll get together afterwards.
Yes, you could say hi to Oliver, my 5-year-old, and he was pissed, by the way. So I picked up Nina from school, and my nanny was there too. Our nanny was there too to walk Oliver home, and he was ready. I was like, "We're going to do the show," and he's like, "I'm coming with you," and I'm like, "No, you're not this year." And he was pissed.
How'd that go?
Not good, right?
No.
Not
and Nina turned around and went.
No, so let's. I want to do a little role play here because Stephanie's an expert in this. We talked about it a little bit before, but I want to give Stephynie one of the hardest issues you've had with some friends this year, and Stephanie's going to help you work through how to handle it moving forward. Microphone podcasting.
Probably. Like sometimes they think they're right when they're not. And they just sometimes, I'm not saying I also don't do this, but sometimes they just don't want to be wrong. Like they're like, no, that's not how you do it. But I know the right way how to do it.
She gets that from her mom.
So actually, Nina, you know what? I've had this a lot with my kids. And I'm going to tell you something that's going to feel incredibly unnatural to you. Okay. It's when you do this, and Dad will give you my number. You call me with any of these situations. I'm batting 10 for 10 right now. Okay. Here's what you do. When this happens, you lower your tone and you go, actually, we probably can't do anybody's name. Let's use a fake name. Okay. Let's call your friend Jenny. Okay. Just go, oh, that's really interesting, Jenny. Can you tell me how you came up with that?
Yeah.
So you're calling them on it, but in a respectful way.
And it's your tone. It's your tone in dealing with them, and you're bringing them into an empathetic connection. And I'm telling you, because little girls are so incredibly catty. I know I have 2 of my own. They don't really know how to react. And all you can ever control in your entire life, honey, is your response. That's all you can control. So if you ask them a question or you invite them and you say, oh, Jenny, that's a really interesting perspective. Can you tell me more about it? As they hear themselves talk, they hear how ridiculous they sound. And then you just go like this, thank you so much for sharing. And you turn around and you walk away.
But you have to do that without the snark. And you can't be, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, no, we call it no Valley Girl tone. Think of it like you're respectfully in a hospital or you're in an office building and you're like, oh, tell me, I want to understand more. Walk me through your perspective. You can't go, none of that.
To tell me more. No, you have to. These girls have they're tweeny. It's crazy listening to them talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And it just FYI, it doesn't get better. Just letting you know.
All right. So Steph, how was your 2023? Let's talk about some ups.
Yeah, well then we don't want to talk about my 2023. If you want ups, Ad.
No. This has been the downside of the roller coaster. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, we had a really, really strong year. Great news is we have reventured the company, brought in 3 new partners, changing a lot of the branding and changing a lot of the content. It's given us a much bigger global perspective. So we've always been global since I started the company 7 years ago. Now we're even more global with some finite skills that I was lucky enough to have at my fingertips, but now they're in-house, which is great. So that was amazing. That was really, really great. All of the kids are in the career choice that they've wanted. My little one made every single team that he wanted and is really looking forward to high school.
That's great. The parenting is tough. How have you embraced your kid's career trajectory early on? Well, let's take a pause there. Nina, what's, even in 6th grade going into 7th grade, what are some of the things you think about that you want to do when you grow up? What are some of those things you want to do?
Well, when I was younger, I wanted to be a model, but I don't really want to do that anymore. I want to be an interior designer or a real estate agent, or I want to be like a social worker.
Interesting. So let me tell you what I've done with my kids. I capsule every year. So I sit down with them at the beginning of the year and I ask them 5 or 10 questions. Certain things have never changed. So my boys, since they were kindergarten, 1st grade, their favorite food has always been hamburger and pizza. But their career choices or their favorite colors or their favorite sport or their favorite hobby, every one of those has changed every year. In fact, my oldest son graduated from college in May and he said,
college grad.
Yes. He was very disappointed at the starting salary and really shocked. Yeah, right. And really just couldn't quite grapple with and then really kind of questioned his entire life. Just was like, maybe I shouldn't have chosen that major. Maybe I shouldn't. It was just a big wake-up call for him. So I think really understanding what you want, Nina, out of your career is really important. Some of my kids are financially driven, so they really care about money and they really care about lifestyle. Other ones care about really incredible impact.
Purpose.
Yeah, right. They want to know how many people that they've helped and how they've helped them. And I think starting with your end result on what you're hoping to get from it is a lot easier than actually just selecting a career that you think might be fun, because then you're kind of filled up with purpose both sides.
And I think it's just fantastic advice for anybody out there, especially a lot of folks now who are in the tough part of their job search and are thinking about pivoting, to break it down. Do I want to focus on impact or financial? And yes, there is a Venn diagram. There is a cross, there is an intersection between the two with certain jobs. But listen, you're not getting rich being a social worker, but you're getting rich emotionally and getting rich fulfilling that cup of helping other people and empathy. And don't worry, Nina, you're going to marry a very rich person.
Adam,
that's what we say.
She's going to do it on her own, and she's not going to need anybody else to help.
If she wants to be a social worker, yes. If you want to be,
you might want to stay with mom and dad for a little bit.
She can stay with us as long as she wants to. So, outlook for 2024. What are some of the things that you're excited about professionally and personally?
Yeah, so I'm really excited. We opened 4 new offices. I'm just so excited. We're changing all the branding. We have 24 new podcast guests. that were very, very, very intentional. And some actually took us quite a long time to establish. Lots of trips individually with the kids, which was really exciting for me. I love spending time. I took Devin and Caden to the Northern Lights this time last year, and it was a really exciting trip.
Where did you go to see them?
We went to Alta. We flew into Oslo, Norway, and then drove up to Alta, which was really 22 hours of darkness and lots of opportunities.
Yeah, we got ripped off. We were in Iceland in 2019. We only caught it through the lens of the camera when we were out there. The conditions really, people need to understand they're not there every night. You have to kind of hunt them, and the conditions have to be the atmospheric particles, the wet. Like, there's a lot of factors.
Right, and we did, and that's totally a great point. We did hunt them. We hunted them at 2:00 in the morning. We hunted them at 6:00 at night over days. I mean, we spent a fair amount of money with different people because then we were like, oh, we need a camera lens if we're going to even get an option. And then the very last night we were there, we actually called us from the hotel. Well, we would have had to pay zero money. They called us from the hotel and they said, run outside. And it was so amazing.
And it's kind of interesting. I go back to that moment too. And that was like kind of one of those metaphorical. It was like, we couldn't really see, like we were out there in the middle of southern Iceland, and you could see like the color palette was starting to change, but it wasn't what you think when you look at the photos. And then my brother-in-law had the camera there, and we were able to look through the lens, and it was glorious. I was like, wow, sometimes you just need to focus and find the right tool to help you see what you need to see through the light. And I don't know if you experienced this when you were in Norway, but like the concept of just clarity and silence and how critical that is and needed.
That was probably that and no reception. That felt it was uneasy at first, and then I literally felt so much more creative, and I wasn't as anxious. It felt really, really nice.
Oh, I would love it, and we're gonna take the kids to Iceland. There's a whole north side of the country. I mean, it's a pretty big place.
I want to go in the hot springs.
You want to go in the thermal springs? Well, fun fact, there are natural thermal springs in Iceland, but the Blue Lagoon is man-made. It's from the geothermal power plant, and they had a brilliant marketing idea to take this warm runoff water that's 100% clean. There's no fossil fuels being burned, and that's what the Blue Lagoon really is. It's the runoff water that comes from the geothermal up top, and they built a resort around it. Yes, the elements in the salt there is great for your skin. It's fantastic. There's a whole mud treatment. Highly recommend it. But it's man-made.
Yeah,
turning
that's
lemons
amazing.
into lemonade. So, Steph, we have a couple minutes left here. What are your wishes for everyone out there who may not be in a good place, who is looking for hope, inspiration?
Yeah.
So they got to dig down deep. What are some words?
So 2023 was an incredible year of loss for me. It was incredible. And I got asked that question. You're the fourth time this year. And I didn't take any time to think about it. So I say, go serve others. Number one, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how small it is. It doesn't matter when you're crying or you're in dismay or you are crushed or you are angry or you are frustrated or you are, you feel like you've been treated unfairly. Get up, even for an hour, figure out what you can do and go serve others. That's number one. Number two, I would say, Claude Silver and I have had this conversation numerous times. And Claude said, Stephynie, can you imagine how many people would die to be in your exact position right now?
Mm-hmm.
And when I thought about that and how far, because Dad, you know where my life has been, you know where I've come from.
Right.
When you think about that and think about, 10 years ago when I was hoping and praying I'd be able to be, here, I've exceeded every one of them. And you can too. It may take 5,000 pivots. It may take, new friendships and relationships, but no matter what, the one thing I want to say is please, please, please don't give up hope. It's so easy to lose hope right now. Find that friend, share that stress, and really just start to engage and talk to people.
I love that advice too. And listen, it's tough right now. There are a lot of people struggling, myself included. It's been a really rough year, and don't take it out on other people. It's really easy. We always take out our frustration and stress on the people that are closest to us because it's easy. You're not walking down the street. Most of us are not just punching some stranger in the face or having road rage. We take it out. No, I'm serious. We take it out on the people that are closest to us that we need the most. And I want everyone to be most supportive. So Stephynie, last but not least, what is your word for 2024? Your word.
My word is compassion.
That's a good one. And
I oftentimes, Adam, I feel like I'm serving so many people that I forget the ones that are right next to me. And I sometimes get going really fast, and people would think I was actually blowing them off or not speaking directly to them. But what I've done is my net is so wide, I give everybody 1 minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes instead of serving less people with a lot more time, a lot more depth, and just a lot more intention, if you will.
I love it. And remember from two things. One, Claude told me, and to everyone out there, we've all survived 100% of our bad days. We've all survived 100% of our bad days. And Dave Meltzer, I take his advice. You always put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
Yes.
You know, because if you can't be your best for these guys,
right?
You know, what's the point? So Stephynie, thank you so much. Where could folks find you? Where could they connect? Where could they learn more?
Yeah, absolutely. So my social handles are all the same. It's Stephynie Malik. So it's STEPHYNIE Malik, MALIK,
right there
on everything.
Right,
and wait,
Stephynie,
I'm not done, Adam. I'm not done.
Go
I have
for
a
it.
question.
Go for it.
Hey, Nina, what's the one thing that makes your dad the absolute maddest?
The maddest?
Yeah.
Oh, where can I start?
Start, girl.
One of the most ones is probably turning off my light or making my bed.
But do you know why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you think I'm a slob.
No. Why do I want
That's
you to make your
fair as well.
But why do I want you to make your bed every morning? Why? What did I tell you the reason was?
It makes me responsible, and it's like a part of your day.
You start the day off with a simple win. You did it. You accomplished it.
Right.
You got the easy one out of the way, and it's not a slob, right? And shut the lights off. It's like costs money. You're not paying bills yet, right? Like these kids leave. Right? Does it get better when they get older, or they just always leave the lights on?
Absolutely not.
Unbelievable. Like shut the freaking light. Like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, I can tell you what to do. I can solve this problem right now for when she's in college. I can solve it right now. So as she gets her part-time job, her bank account will be under your account, okay? And whenever she's home for the summer, you take that money for the electric bill out of her account, and don't say anything until her charges get declined.
Wow.
That worked for the two oldest ones, and they never ever did it again. Two youngest ones still working on it.
All right, Steph, I deeply appreciate you. I'll let you go. I will follow up with you after the show. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Take care. Have a good happy holidays.
Meeting you, sweetheart.
Great meeting you.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye, honey.
Hi. All right, Stephynie Malik, everyone, please connect with her on LinkedIn. All right, Nina, I'm going to bring on my Unpod squad here for a moment, and I will catch you in a minute.
Okay.
All right. Let's bring these guys back on. What's that face, Joel? Why are you making that face?
Dude, I was hoping to have Nina here, but you just kept ruining it.
I was just gonna ask, does that mean that like we can cuts and
swear? Yeah, it's fun. All right, everybody. This is the fourth year tradition here. I gotta remove the hold on. I gotta remove the brand elements here because I'm blocking Jonaed. There we go. And I will put the let's do. Should we put that logo up there?
Oh boy.
Is that? How about that? How about that was always a fan favorite. Or you could do where did he go?
Travis is cool. Travis is universally loved.
We love Travis. And how about baby Travis? You ever see this one? He's
wow.
I have all these old little things here in my StreamYard. Gentlemen, fourth year in a row, the Unpod squad.
4 years, damn, that's crazy.
I think it's 4. Joel, your sign is giving me a seizure back there. I mean, it's like, I'm gonna start pulsating this thing over here. Yeah, come on, you get to put on the light show.
You got a little button too.
You should see what these things do.
Reminds me of when I was in college and I bought like the light up beer signs and how
right, or like he's like
so cool.
He's got the black lights in there. So what I want to do in the studio is I don't know if you've seen Howard Stern's new studio. So like there's a corner here, like there's the corner where that light goes, and I want to wrap the podcast in neon from that wall around to this wall and angle the whole studio on a corner shot like that.
That would be nice.
Right, a little bit different perspective, and I move the camera around when I do that. What's up, buddy? You want your seltzer, gentlemen? What's happening? What's a good word? Now I threw my light meter off.
I need a new backdrop like this. You guys have like
Liam, what are you doing, dude?
You guys have like legit backdrops.
Nah, but he got a couch. You got a couch
and shoes and hats and
no, it's cool.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool.
I got
Jonaed has the Northern Lights behind him, right? Is that what that is? Is it the Northern Lights behind you?
Yeah.
Like what?
I'm trying to meet up Santa and stuff, you know.
He's in Greenland.
Dude, this guy Jonaed's been around the block this year. Wait, so here's a fun fact. I did get to spend time with all of you in person at least once this year, which was great. Yeah, and Jonaed and I we got together early part of the year. I haven't seen you since then.
Yeah, and I saw all of you guys too, so that's cool.
Right? Where'd you see Liam?
He came to New York City. He went to LinkedIn office.
I missed you on that trip, and Joel and I finally got to hang out. We had a really good time. We had a good time, Joel. We had a good time in Nash Vegas. You got to see how swole his arms really are. This guy is jacked.
Joel's been working out.
This guy is jacked. He looks like Liam. You probably remember. Did you have the stretchy wrestler toys when you were a kid?
Yeah,
the ones you could pull. Like that's what Joel is. Like you could take his arms and just stretch, and they just get like real big.
Nice.
But it was cool. We had a good time at Wreckfest. I had a great time with my dude Liam, second year in a row. Liam, you going back? You gonna go to round 3 in LA? VCon?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, probably. I don't know. Tickets will probably be like $20.
Jesus.
No, I think I'll probably go just because it's a fantastic gathering of people anyways, even if it's not NFT related.
And this year really wasn't. It was, I mean, really, I think the value that you get from a networking, because it's a non-conference conference.
Yep.
Right.
I don't even like the workshops at conferences. I just go for the networking. I just hang around in the halls and talk to people.
Well, that's what VCon is, right? Like, but you also get the incredible, and it's like such a cross section of. It's not. First year was Web3, right?
Yeah.
And then the second year was much more like life, motivation, inspiration, marketing, business, and they got the memo. That's what they need from a content. But let's go around the horn here, and I want to talk about biggest wins of the year, because it's been a tough one. Let's start with Jonaed. What was your biggest personal and professional win this year?
Honestly, I will say just like meeting Kevin has been like a pretty good thing. I think
Kevin's great, good dude.
You know, eventually when you create content on LinkedIn, you get like bitter. And
Never.
You get bitter and stale. So it's like, and it's hard because people will give you advice and the advice is so basic. So it was good to actually like talk to someone who like actually understands content and, you know, not in a like a tricky clickbaity way, but like, yo, how do you create good content that resonates? So that's always a win. And, you know, got some things going, but I'm really glad that I got to really make these trips around and meeting Joel in person. I would say that is definitely the win, because I knew Joel when he had less than 10K followers,
bro.
And so it's cool. And, you know, just the fact that he's the same dude that I met him, and, you know, we still call, chop it up, and, you know,
resume guide.
Yeah. And we made money together too. So that's always good.
Dude, that's what it's about. It's about collaboration, and that's real. I mean, it sounds so fucking corny, but like at the end of the day, like LinkedIn brought us all together, right? Like LinkedIn really did, and and we all learn from each other, and we collab, and you know, we figure shit out and everything. And you just see Joel when he walks around this event, be like, "Oh my god, is that the human headhunter? Is that the human?"
We rebranded, man. We rebranded. I can't.
Well, now you're the realist.
He still has the axe in the trunk though. In his minivan, he has the axe in his
Do you
trunk.
remember that logo? Do you remember that horrific?
I know what you're talking about.
That logo that I'm gonna resurface it somewhere. It is the most horrific logo in the history of logos ever created. Right?
I liked it though. I liked it.
Did the axe murdering logo?
Yeah.
I think his logo was actually somewhat like it was terrible. It was terrible. It was just it was so tone deaf. It was awful. It was just everything about it was bad. But he
waited 4 years to tell him that?
No, I told him immediately. Believe me.
It was in the chat. If we go back to the chat, you'll see it.
Yeah.
If you know,
by the way, that I pulled my analytics and I queried.
Yes.
And our chat is the most conversation
By
I
far.
have had on LinkedIn in 4 years.
Dude, we've had that same chat for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my fantasy football team for the last 25 years, baseball, right? Like we've had that for.
It's not a pod though. It's
the
not a
unpod.
pod.
And we never share links. We just jam. We usually just make fun of
No,
other people.
Adam
for
shares
doing it.
links all the time.
That's not true.
Of terrible content
Oh,
that goes viral.
I'm not sharing my terrible content. It's these content that, and listen, it's fun. It's fun to rip on it because for me, it's kind of an escape at times when we're just like, what the, how? But there's lessons to be learned from that shit, right?
Yeah, totally.
I guess
Everything's an evolution.
Yeah.
I mean, Joel he takes Gary V's feed and he keeps it on one screen and he just takes it and puts it into ChatGPT.
I will say I took one of his posts. Okay, it was like the recruiting strategy or whatever. Care more. I took that one. That's the only one. The rest of it is just those are just wise pearls from like my brain, you know?
Right.
People like humans.
The biggest tip in recruiting is give candidates oxygen.
Exactly.
Crazy. So Joel, let's go around the horn here. Joel, what was your big win of the year?
Big win of the year. Hopefully this year is gonna be having a baby here in like the next week or so. Let's go add into the squad. Perfect. And then second big win was like getting this whole setup, getting the studio, and going solo. So that's been great. And then meeting 2 out of the 3 of you.
Yeah, Joel and I, we gotta meet, dude.
Meatloaf said 2 out of 3.
I got family over by you, so there's a good chance I'll be out there. But now with the 3rd kid,
yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I was supposed to come to Milwaukee for that Harley Davidson festival.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why. No, because it was a big music festival.
Summerfest, right?
Yeah, but then my buddies bailed, and so I was like, yeah.
I was waiting for you.
Find another time to go. You were there, just waiting for me at the front gates.
Yeah, he was waiting. He just left you waiting there.
That's funny.
I mean, I had to wine and dine this guy in Nashville. I treated him to breakfast, and he ordered 4 meals. I was like,
nice.
I said 1 meal. I was like, dude, he's like, oh,
I brought someone else too and made Adam pay for that.
Such a shanty move. It's such a shanty.
I love
Shout out to Vincent Babcock.
Aw. He was a good guy. He let Joel sleep on his couch here. But yeah, I mean, listen, here's a cool thing. It's good to see the two of you guys on the right side of the screen went out on your own this year, and you see what Jonaed have been doing for a long time. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of and it takes and the other thing too is, in all seriousness, guys, like having a support network. We're all solopreneurs. Right. So to have people to lean on and have that camaraderie during the day. I mean, we're all in our own offices or dens, or Jonaed is on some spaceship, right? Like we're all in our own places, and like to have that camaraderie and to be able to connect is important.
100%. No, it is because entrepreneurship is lonely, and then when you learn the lessons, it's like one thing when you read it, and it's different when you get hit with it, and you're like, oh,
I just fell into a Joel post. I'm living in that Joel post. The Joel post. Always aim for the Joel post.
Hey,
right?
Man, it's a skill.
It is a skill. Liam, interesting year for you. You decided to leave corporate America and launching Liam's brand stand, which I love. And my biggest and I said this to you, I love that your brand, that you created the look and feel of it, and you're doing things your way, right? You're not doing it everyone's way. You're not copying the template. You're not copying the blueprint. You're not copying the master MBA program from the Supreme Grand Poobah Welsh, right? Like you're doing it your way. Yeah. And you're teaching your way with your knowledge and insights, and you're differentiating.
Yeah.
And that's commendable, because a lot of people out there who are out of work, they fall for the snake oil, and they drink the Kool-Aid, and next thing you know, they're just putting out courses about courses, but you're doing it based on your experience. What was that first big bump in the road that you've been having to climb over?
So for me, honestly, the initial and Joel knows this, I didn't know what to expect. And I think I had expectations that, oh yeah, I got this big network of people that have followed me for a long time. I'll have clients lined up for months, and that's just not necessarily the case. It's a competitive market. Had a couple clients that came out from sort of my following, but you have to market, and you have to sell, and you have to really be dedicated to that pursuit. And I think for me, I still am not good at it. It's ironic, but self-promotion is very hard for me. I'm not a natural salesperson. I'm a natural operator of sales process, and that's different, right? Like I'm used to being bottom of the funnel, fixing problems, analyzing data, telling salespeople what to do with that data, et cetera. As opposed to marketing, which is very top of funnel. And so I have to basically be like, okay, every piece of content I create, I'm creating with the hope that 3 months from now, it will yield some type of fruit, or sooner. But that was the biggest challenge, I think. And not having done it before, it was like, oh, did I make a mistake? Like the doubt and the anxiety that's associated with
it's hard.
Going live like that is crazy. But I have come a long way in 4 months. And I think a lot of people that I talk to are like, dude, 4 months, like you're still in diapers. Like stop worrying. You have to really just grind for at least 6, probably 2 years to like really understand if there's something there.
Yep.
And I've started to get some traction and feeling a lot more self-confident, more comfortable, and like having conversations. Like I'm no longer afraid to ask for business or for money. And like, that took a lot of adjusting. I was used to just giving everybody free shit.
Yeah, don't give away the farm.
I
I learned that from Jonaed and Kevin. Like, don't give away the farm. We all have such immense IP that we could sell and monetize, especially now. Then why not? But here's the deal, man. I've had this shingle up for 6+ years, 6.5 years now, and this the last 3 years have been incredible hockey stick growth for me. And this year, fucking roller coaster to the bottom, elevated to ground zero, and it's been awful. And it's been a terrible year, but if you can't handle the highs, if you can't handle the lows, you can't handle the highs. And that's something you got to remember as business. Also, the ability, not everyone is meant to go out there and kill what they eat.
Yeah.
Right. And that is a hard concept when you need to keep your foot on the gas from a business development and an execution delivery perspective. Joel knows this. Jonaed knows this, right? You always have to be generating biz dev, relationships, running it, right? Like you need to really just be mindful of that there too. So we have a couple minutes left, and I want to talk about biggest pet peeve on LinkedIn in 2023. We'll start with Joel.
Oh.
And you can't call yourself, you can't say I'm my biggest pet peeve, because that's mine. You can't take that from me.
I think people thinking or claiming to be good content creators, but they can't build on any of the platform. The content's created by probably AI. They're part of engagement groups, yet selling like their own organic reach. And basically anything Luke Matthews posts.
What did you say? You can't open it. Hold on, guys. 1 second. Discuss amongst yourself. Jonaed, what's your biggest pet peeve? Nina, come here.
My biggest pet peeve are people
all the way, leave it open, and go to the
really don't value their community.
It's 4-2. Trust me, it's a bathroom in there. 4-2.
There are people who I've like literally been their top supporter,
Nina,
and they never ever come back. And then they complain about the algorithm, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I gotta support a couple people to get some reach," and it's like, yeah, because it's like you don't answer your 4 comments, and you don't. I'm not saying you have to do like, oh, you like one post, I like one post, but if it's like
it's not quid pro quo.
Show up, it's like a networking event. It's like if I'm always helping you out, and then when I call you, you don't even answer. Like, what is that? And then these are the people who complain about the algorithm the most.
Right. It's not quid pro quo. It's about like certainly there's a fine line. Listen, technically speaking, we're in a pod, but we don't share each other's shit. We engage with each other because we like it. That doesn't mean I'm always like liking and engaging with all your stuff. Right. If I doesn't, and same thing I tell Kevin, if I don't like what you're writing, I'm not going to just write because I feel like inclined because I have to. And it's just really a cycle of opportunists, right? It's in Gary Vee's new book coming out. It's all about the attention game. And I think that's what we're seeing here on LinkedIn. People are figuring out how to monetize attention. And they're doing whatever the hell they need to do because the platform isn't stopping it. And it's these optics of like, I generated so many followers and number and likes and engagement. You don't need to know how I did it, but now I'm going to show you that now that equals authority, that I know what I'm talking about. And that's not the case. Because they don't do it the right way. What say you, Liam Darmody?
I think that everybody has the ability to determine for themselves what they consider the right and the wrong way to do it. And I think if there's some people that, are content to, just kind of game the system and use automation and, use engagement pods in the name of supporting each other, like that's their prerogative. Personally, it's not mine. I think honestly, like you said, we're technically in a pod, but we don't know. I would say we're not. Like we never really share each other's crap. It's just like it's a place for us to hang out, and we have a genuine supportive group of buddies that are hanging out in a group chat on LinkedIn. Like that's what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to build connection and create community on the platform. So I don't know. I think for me, the growth hacking component has definitely escalated in the last year. Seeing people that are coming over from other platforms that are like, 0 to 60, 0 to 100, like all this stuff. And it's like, you lift under the hood and it's like, well, yeah, there's 300 people that are all just circling the same crap. And so it creates this additional pressure for people who actually want to create and find their voice.
Exactly.
And they're like, why should I bother? I'm not getting any return on my investment. And it's like,
might as well cheat.
Well, that, or they're just like, I'm not going to do it. And that is the worst part of it, is that like,
it's quieting voices.
All platforms to not do that on, it's this one, because our personal brands will live with us as long as we do. Right. And so like, you know, this is the only platform where you can verify your identification, and you can do it for free. And, you know, you are who you say you are, and everybody can see what you've done in you know, your life and your accomplishments. Like, it's a shame that people are letting vanity metrics get in the way of their ability to just create content and be themselves here. And that's what's frustrating for me.
I think they're seeing the top of the pyramid, and they're seeing these people that quote unquote are making money, and they're trying to do whatever they can to make that money because people are out of work.
Yeah.
I think that's so opportunistic. I mean,
and honestly, I can't knock that, right? No. It's like, if you are feeding your family and that's how you're doing it, that's how you're doing it. Like, it's not my approach. I don't agree with it. It doesn't feel good to me, but like, you know, I think it's just, it's something's got to change, because I think LinkedIn has a bit of an identity crisis. There's a bunch of people that are scared to post. Then they come on here, they work up the courage to start posting some stuff. They don't get as much traction, and they see all these other people who are like, we got tons and tons of engagement. And so they're like, well, it's not really worth my time. So they go away. So like, LinkedIn has to figure out how to appease people and make them want to create here, you know?
Right. Jonaed, I see your gears going down there. What are your thoughts?
No, I mean, I'll go a little deeper. I think like, people can't expect that engagement right away. It's like, you know, no one goes on YouTube and is like, why don't I have 30K subs? Or, you know, no one goes on. So I think a lot of times people go out on these platforms, they see people succeed, and it's like, look, you got to put in time, a year, 2 years. Like, Joel's at 200K, but this guy has been putting in the nonstop work for 4 years straight, and then he's built on other platforms. So I think a lot of people have to really just go, look, like, I can't be the VP or SVP of a company until I actually put in the work and the experience. And I think there's no shortcut. And a lot of people are seriously not willing to put in the work, because especially if you're a beginning content creator and you get like 8 comments, and I see a lot of them, 99% of people will not answer those 8 comments. And then they're going to go complain and say it's so hard. So I fully agree with you, Liam, but I also think that people need to put in that time and be patient and get better.
100%. I preach that all the time. I actually teed up a post that's coming out next week or sometime in the future. Can you imagine if you walked up to somebody at a networking event and you introduced yourself and you put out your hand and they didn't shake your hand and they didn't respond to you? They just stood there and looked at you. Think about how awkward that would be. That's essentially a sort of a parallel equivalent, right?
So awkward.
Like, somebody shows up to your post and is supporting you, and you're like, meh.
I'm just you know what I've seen recently, and a guy pitched me on this. It's like this AI tool that like comments on people's posts.
Yeah.
And what it does, it summarizes it, and then like you click a button, and then you can make it shorter, whatever. And I'm like, do you understand the point of like?
Yeah.
It's like the point is like I'm trying to connect with people online and let people get to know me. Ultimate goal is to meet people offline, because like unless you are selling like a $199 course, you're not gonna crush like a $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 deal like without actually having a relationship.
Nope,
like a couple posts on LinkedIn that say agree and get a couple thousand. It might sell you a $119 or $149 course. It's not going to get you a huge deal.
So guys, let's
be relationships.
Exactly. We're going to continue this conversation. I think we're going to have to do another roundtable here. We'll do it ad hoc. But go around the horn real quick. Your word for 2024 for yourself, Liam.
Focus.
Joel.
Persistence.
Jonaed.
Fun.
What about you? Is it beard?
My word for 2024, it's 2 words. It's 3 words. Trust the process. Trust the process. Put in the work. All right, guys.
But cheat by using more words. So.
No, I know. I appreciate you guys. Everyone, you know where to connect with these clowns on LinkedIn. Support them, buy their shit, and I love you guys. And happy and healthy holidays, and take care. And let's go wrap the show. Let me kick these guys off here. Now, there's only one way to end this show, and it's really to look in the future. And the only way that I'm going to look into the future is if I find Adam Posner for the future, and I'm going to hit my crystal ball here. And wait a minute. Wait, Nina, do you see what I see? Do you see what I see over there?
There's another Adam Posner.
Is that? Do you hear that accent? What's the accent?
It's another Adam Posner.
It's real. That's Adam Posner from the future. Is what day of the what day of the week is it?
It's Thursday morning here in Australia.
We are going all the way. See, his camera was frozen there. So this is my LinkedIn buddy, Adam Posner, and it's Posner. He's not Posner, right?
No, it's Posner. What are you?
I'm Posner. We've had this conversation before, Adam Posner.
We have Posner. It is.
And you correct people like I do, or do you let it go?
No, they usually ask me, is it Posner or Posner? And I say, whatever you prefer. I don't mind. Just call me. Just
call me. So, Adam, how's your year been?
Hey, Adam. What's your daughter's name?
Nina Posner.
Nina, how are you?
Good.
And how old? Can I guess how old you are?
Yeah.
I'll guess that you are 10.
Ooh.
9.
Wait, what did he guess?
No, he gets. You can hear him, right?
No, I can't.
You can't hear him at all.
10.
You hear him now?
Are you 10 years old?
He said 10. You hear him?
Close. I'm 11.
Close.
Talking
Okay,
to him.
9. 9.
The answer is 11.
11. Congratulations. Okay.
We got there. So tell us, how has your year been? Been a good year?
I was listening to you, Adam. In the first 9 months were very, very good. The last 3 months it just dropped.
Yeah,
Just dropped out.
It's been a tough one for a lot of us there. And for anyone out there, tell everyone what Aussie Adam does for a living.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm here down under in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm a customer loyalty specialist, and I help brands, make more money from the customers that they have through customer loyalty and loyalty programs.
I love it. And loyalty's been a hot one. I mean, especially with the airlines too. I know here in the States here with Delta, they really tried to mess with the program there for interesting reasons. They were focusing on their highest value customers, but what were the negative results to the larger proportion of the bottom of the folks?
Yeah, I've been following them a little bit, but airlines is not really my shtick. Retail and various other categories, entertainment, gaming. But a lot of just on that, Adam. I mean, a lot of programs are reevaluating their value exchange to their members and their profitability. So there's been a lot of change this year.
It's certainly been a year of change. But what's going on down in Australia? What's the good stuff? Like what are you excited about? Yeah, it's summertime.
I've just had a swim. I've just had a beautiful swim in this morning, so I'm feeling fresh. Going on holiday to the beach to do some surfing. So it's good times.
So here's my question. So Nina's bat mitzvah is coming up in a year or so.
Right.
And instead of doing a big party, we're going to take a family trip, and we've been considering Hawaii. She said Spain, and I said, if you want to go to Australia, Daddy wants to go. What are your thoughts? Why should she choose Australia over Hawaii?
Because you can meet another Adam Posner when you come to Australia.
And that means we'll have to go in the summer. We have to go when it's summer.
Right. Well, we could plan it that way. Go over Christmas break.
I think it's a great idea, and I'd love to have you here in Melbourne, show you around, and there's some great stuff for you to do here in Melbourne.
I want you to consider Australia. It's a long flight, but we could stop over in LA for a night. You could break it up a little bit, right? I know it's a long flight for you. So, all right.
Is there spiders?
I won't let you go near the spiders, but I'll show you kangaroos. And what about a koala?
Koalas are cool, but you have to watch them. They have these. Listen, Nina. If we go to Hawaii, there's some insects there too. You're gonna have to really understand that it's not. It's a tricky one. So Adam from the future. Adam from the future. Give us some a prediction of how is the outlook for 2024 going to be for Adam Posners out there? Are we going to have a good year?
I think there's two things there. In there. First of all, what can you control yourself versus all the noise and horrible things happening around the world, and not getting beaten down by the headlines and the media and the clickbait. So I think it's positive if you can manage your mental outlook. And as you said, you just don't give up, persist. No is getting closer to a yes. My attitude is, for every no, it's getting closer to a yes. And if you keep thinking like that, you just keep going after those no's. I welcome the no thanks, and then I'll move on to the next.
I appreciate that one. And I do believe in optimism, and I do believe that you have to be optimistic. Otherwise there's going to be no hope at all. And you have to put good vibes added to the universe. And I appreciate you, Adam Posner, and hang with me here, because we're gonna wrap this show up, and we're gonna bring it home. First of all, good morning. What is it, like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning?
No, it's 9 a.m. here now. Yeah.
I was close to that one, and you're about to start your day. And my advice, when I start the day, is plan your work and work your plan.
I love that. And but always start the day. Attack the morning is my plan. I swim every morning, and nothing's better than getting up and doing some exercise and just getting into that rhythm.
I absolutely love it. And Nina, we do this every year. This has been a really tough year. And for me, I found out how resilient I could be, even during tough times, even when things aren't great, and really trying to be more patient and understanding and trusting the process, and knowing that we have a great support system and things are always going to work out. And always keep your North Star in focus, you and your brother and your mom, and doing things the right way. And for you and your brother and your mother, obviously, I wish every dream, every hope, and all the good stuff, and always being my sidekick and my number one fan. What final words do you have as we wrap up?
That was beautiful. And Nina, always give your dad a hug. A hug a day is the most important thing, because there's nothing better than a hug in the morning from your kids. I've got 3 kids, and if I get a hug, I'm very happy, except they're 21 and they don't hug me anymore. They're 19, they don't hug me anymore. But give them hugs.
Yeah, I love it. And we're going to wrap it up here. And I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Aussie Adam. I want to thank Stephynie, Mita, Kevin, Jonaed, Liam, and even Joel. I want to thank everyone for joining us here, and everyone who's been with us with the podcast. Check out episode 300 with my wife. We got 2 more shows coming out this year. I'll be back tomorrow with a recruiter roundtable to end out the year with some fantastic guests. I want to thank everyone. I found out more at thepodcast.com. Remember, be good to yourself, be better to others. Wait, we need the music.
Love it.
Be good to yourself, be better to others, and have a great holiday. Happy and a healthy new year. And we'll catch you all 2024.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks for joining us on the podcast, everybody.
Take care.